Good morning, colleagues, professors, students, speakers, and friends of the market research profession in Malaysia. In case you don't know me, I'm John Smithwaite, the president of the Marketing Research Society of Malaysia. Today, we have over 300 participants registered in our conference, a marvelous number. So thank you so much for joining MRSM for these exciting 2 days. Last year, we held the MRS annual event at the Asia Pacific University campus in Technology Park. That was again the plan for this year until about 6 weeks ago, and unfortunately, for obvious reasons, this plan had to change. The digital world is upon us, so we now go virtual today and tomorrow. Before I go any further, I would like to thank our MRSM team who have put this conference together. This became an extra challenge to move from a physical conference to a digital conference. When it comes to organizing conferences, the old analog world, I'm afraid, is still a lot simpler than the digital world. I will mention and thank each of the MRS members later in the day, but just right at the beginning, I'd like to make a special mention to Ian Kwan, who has been organizing the event, and Leonard Chan, who has done all the high-tech work behind the scenes. Now, we also have a wonderful sponsor to the conference program. The conference program sponsor is High-Tech Development. Some of you may be familiar with high-tech, as they are already quite well known in our market research profession, in particular for providing the platform for broadcasting focus group discussions. You will certainly see the high-tech platform in action over these few days. Now, as mentioned earlier, we would normally be holding this conference at the highly advanced APU campus. MRSM has been a partner with APU over the past few years. The full name for APU is the Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation. Now, technology and innovation are exactly what we are looking for in our industry. So the partnership is very meaningful for our business, but more about APU tomorrow. So a big thank you to our high-tech development sponsor and our APU partner. Now, it would be absolutely remiss of me not to mention the pain that our profession has gone through this year. I have seen many crises over the years, but this is certainly amongst the worst. My heart goes out to those who have lost either jobs or finances. Hopefully, with good news about a vaccine, Malaysia will soon see the light ahead. Now, I'm heartened by what I see happened in China. Once China controlled the virus, their business is almost back to normal. It's including the market research business. Even the GDP in China is expected to grow 4 to 5% this year. So it may well be that we in Malaysia can expect a fast recovery once the virus is under control. And I am reminded of the financial crisis in 1997 and 1998, where the impact on the market research business then was just as bad as it is today. But there was an immediate and very fast recovery, and we got back on the trend of growth once again. So hopefully that's going to happen with us here this time. The market research business, as we know, has been very badly affected in Malaysia. However, in some ways, the market research profession was, in terms of at least data collection, reasonably well positioned to cope with the crisis, because a large proportion of data collection was already online or at least available for us. Many of our Southeast Asian neighbors were not so well prepared and had a difficult time trying to move from face-to-face interviews to digital platforms. And the digital world is very much what we are covering in the next few days. Now, this brings me to our theme for this conference: accelerating IR 4.0 in the post-COVID era. The role of data and insights in the success of digitalization and IoT. This may seem a strange topic for market researchers. I mean, strange talking about IR 4.0. But I had become aware of IR 4.0 as it relates to manufacturing. And after some consideration with the MRSM committee, we thought that perhaps IR 4.0 could have relevance to market research and marketing, not just to the manufacturing industry. So we shall see in these 2 days just how that works out. Now, on with the program. Now I would like to ask Leonard to play a short video welcoming our bold speakers. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you very much, Leonard. Now, today we have, well, as you know, the program runs over 2 days. And we did this because we thought that a 5-hour program online or virtual may just be a little bit too fatiguing for people. So that's why we've split it for sort of 2.5 hours over each day. So today we have 3 sessions. Session 1 will be an opening speech from MDEC. Session 2, there will be speakers from Geometry and Huawei. Then session 3 will be speakers from Domino's and Astro. So a big thank you to the speakers for day 1. Now I know they're all sort of waiting in the wings to come on board. Now we're going to start with session 1, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the speaker for the opening address today, Mr. Raymond Siva. He's the Chief Marketing Officer for MDEC. For those not familiar with what MDEC stands for, and I'm sure you all are, it is the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation. Raymond has kindly filled in at the last moment for Dr. Rais, the chairman of MDEC, who's just been pulled away this morning for a ministerial budget meeting. So Ray, thank you very much for stepping in at the last minute, but I believe you wrote the speech anyhow. Ray has more than 23 years of experience in journalism, strategic marketing, and crisis and issue response. He's sought after reputation and influence strategist for international brands, local conglomerates, and CEOs. Ray was appointed CMO of the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation in 2019, overlooking strong brand and strategic partnership division. This includes brand marketing and partnerships. strategic communication, digital and experiential. Ray is recognized for his work in CEO leadership position in government and community communications, brand and marketing campaigns, and financial communications. So, Raymond, over to you. Thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you, John. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Good morning to everyone. Selamat pagi and welcome to this conference. Firstly, allow me to convey the warm wishes from my chairman, Datuk Wira Dr. Haji Rais Hussein Muhammad Arif, to all present here this morning. He sends his deep regrets for not being here as he has some pressing matters to attend to. However, it gives me great pleasure to deliver the opening remarks for this Virtual Marketing Research Society Malaysia MRSM's Annual Conference 2020. Aptly themed Accelerating IR 4.0 in a post-COVID-19 environment. This conference this year will explore the role of data and consumer insights in the success of digitalization and the Internet of Things, something that is very close to our hearts at MDEC. I understand the conference will provide first-hand insights and also sharing sessions from industry leaders, as John rightly pointed out. I've got friends from Geometry here as well as other agencies. And from a broad spectrum of businesses on how to leverage data and consumer insights to make the right decisions and to succeed in the new normal. This conference is, for us, certainly timely as we hit towards the end of the year. As it deliberates how this technology or technological innovations could potentially empower marketeers, advertisers, the brand owners, and marketing firms, not only to survive, but we feel to thrive in this new normal, which is resulting from this pandemic. So, ladies and gentlemen, uncertainty can be measured in magnitude and duration. But by both measures, the extreme uncertainty accompanying the public health and economic damage created by this COVID-19 pandemic is unprecedented in modern memory, or in my memory. The IMF foresees the world economy shrinking at a rate of negative 4.4% in 2020, having grown 2.8% in 2019. The impact of COVID-19 on the APEC economies is also rapidly emerging. We just had the APEC conference. The Policy Support Unit estimates that the APEC region's economy will contract by 2.7% in 2020, making it one of the worst downturns, or the worst downturn since the 2008 global financial crisis. This translates to a loss in output of approximately USD 2.1 trillion. Unemployment in the region is also expected to increase to 5.8%, with a total of 81 million people unemployed or expected to be unemployed this year, 23 million more people than in 2019, right? So the world today has changed in a blink. Many of us did not have a clue on the looming economic crisis and the huge impact it would have on people, businesses, and society. The reality is this: there's no more BAU. There's no more business as usual. The only constant today is change, and we certainly can't have leadership as usual. Despite the various measures that has been taken by the leaders and policymakers around the world, it seems as though the pandemic and its impact is here to stay. So we need to learn to coexist. I say coexist with the evolving impact of the virus and equip ourselves with the new knowledge and the technological knowledge to help us ride the waves of this pandemic. Who would have thought that masks, sanitizers, physical distancing would be the key words of 2020. We see friends no longer shaking hands, elbow bumps and ankle bumps. Where we used to ask for approval to work from home, now we need approval to be at the office. So more than ever, we now need to adopt and experiment whatever that we do today. We can all benefit from this test fast and fail fast attitude that a lot of serial entrepreneurs possess. And we've seen many coming through MDEC and our sister agencies like Magic. And yes, data analytics and technology will help us make smarter predictions. But we now live in unprecedented times. Tried and tested legacy approaches may no longer be as effective as it used to be. The reality to me at least, is this, right? It's not just transformation. I say we must reinvent. But why? You ask, right? Why fix something that may not be broken? Gears are still turning, business is still there, it'll bounce back. However, we feel that comfort and complacency is a fatal attitude for the employee and the company. I posit that we may need to ask ourselves these questions. Why do we do what we do? What is the desired impact on our individual growth, our family, our company, our community well-being? I feel that purpose always anchors and drives the mission, especially in times of great uncertainty. But without a structure, without organizational support, it really could be overwhelming, right? So we need to look at the people that we have, the people that we work with, the processes in place, so that everyone knows their core role and how they can assist each other, and the technology to enable productivity and measurement, right? And the key here is to balance profits with people. How can we motivate high performance culture by providing for health and mental well-being, and also for the family considerations? One thing that jumped out at me at this time was to look at the UN SDGs. Imagine what could happen if each one of us commits to just achieving one of those SDGs, right? But more importantly is that we must adopt a digital first thinking as we develop solutions to reinvent our business models, right? So we look at Zoom, Teams, webinar and virtual events, Slack, Google Docs, WhatsApp and WeChat. Everything from all those applications that we have to now, how do we build on a marketing technology stack? How do we utilize ad tech to address the vastly changed consumer behaviors, right? And I'm convinced that digital is the demolition ball to break through the ossified cultures, BAU and CAU, which is business as usual and culture as usual. The fourth IR is really characterized, and we've been reading about this, characterized by the fusion of digital, biological, and physical worlds, as well as the growing utilization of the new technologies, and we heard of all of that before, right? Cloud computing, robotics, 3D printing, and IoT. And in all of this have ushered really a new era of socio-economic disruption and opportunity. To us, at least, AI, IoT, blockchain really can enhance opportunities for data gathering and analysis, and really for more targeted and effective business strategies. We posit that the failure to recognize or to capitalize on the fourth IR opportunities, conversely, will impose considerable risks on stakeholders. Our business risks falling further behind, really, exacerbating the global digital divide and lowering our competitiveness. So with the COVID-19 restrictions and ongoing physical distancing protocols in place, businesses have no choice but to transform their business models and really step up their efforts in adopting digital technology. The spread of digital technologies can empower us with access to information, job opportunities, and really services that improve our standard of living in this new normal. More broadly, we feel that digitization is enabling entrepreneurs and businesses to rethink their current business models and make it more impactful, sustainable, and connected to the other sectors of the economy. For example, right now, businesses are able to design products and trade online, and individuals, the rakyat, are able to leverage contactless financial services and payments for shopping and investments. Right? Innovation is really the key and is at the heart of the fourth industrial revolution. And reinforcing the state and institutional capacities to drive and support this innovation and to create an enabling business environment is essential for success. Give you a few examples on how this has intersected, right? In Rwanda, they were the first country to incorporate drones into the healthcare system, right? Using autonomous air vehicles to deliver blood transfusions to remote regions. In Malaysia, technology has also improved disaster response, right? We've seen apps like MySejahtera, Sri Lanka, which have become the default method for tracking the infections, dispersing information, checking symptoms and communicating for those who are under the quarantine. Earlier this year, the World Economic Forum, the WEF, and MDEC also announced a joint effort to co-design pilot policy principles and the regulatory frameworks to accelerate the utilization of drone tech for societal benefits. So aside from just increasing crop yields, drones can also be used efficiently to identify dangerous conditions, for example, without putting workers at risk, and also act as a lifeline for remote populations and reduce carbon emissions, right? So the accelerated evolution in these technologies have allowed businesses and also marketing professionals such as us to analyze, predict, and respond to the consumers' rapidly changing behavior in almost every industry possible. And really, this revolution runs on data, right? So generated on an unprecedented scale by an ever-increasing array of connected devices, data is now the lifeblood of the modern economy. But it isn't free. Yeah, we have to accept that the customer's willingness to entrust us with those sensitive information about their lives and businesses hinges really on the quality of the experience that we offer them, right? So right now we're in an environment where we really need to have a handle on the metrics, the insights, and what's actually happening on the ground, what some may call the dashboard of daily life. Right? It requires CEOs such as yourselves and other leaders to be knowledgeable enough about data and technology to be able to make informed decisions. The Chief Information Officer, the Chief Technology Officer, the Chief Marketing Officer, every decision is now powered by a set of data and analytics that you really have to understand quite deeply. Ladies and gentlemen, digital transformation really presents both challenges and opportunities. Those who succeed are adopting and using 4th IR technologies to create a better life, including new and more meaningful jobs, reskilling of the workforce, better health and education, and smarter and greener cities. For business leaders, and even for me, I think it's really been challenging to find the resilience to really lead in a more human way, particularly when you think about some of the issues around inclusion, equality, social justice, and those who may have been left behind. And how do we build back towards, how we build back better towards a net zero economy, right? How do you make sure you've got the resilience to be able to lead in a bold, empathetic, and ethical way? And if you never knew that you needed all of those skills, perhaps now you know it for sure. I think that really has been an important insight for many leaders in these times. We now actually have hope of emerging from the crisis as various reports emerge of vaccines becoming available soon. The ensuing recovery relies largely upon a managed digital transformation, not so much an organic evolution, but a managed digital transformation into what MDEC, or more specifically our chairman, has introduced as Malaysia 5.0. Malaysia 5.0 is a new narrative for Malaysia as an innovation economy that can compete in a disruptive technology world and also serve as a springboard for us, those in Malaysia, to get into ASEAN and beyond. Now at the cusp of the 4th IR, we are actually now blessed with the chance to re-engineer the human experiment using technologies that decentralize authority and de-emphasize divisions along the lines of color, creed, and country. What the Japanese really have coined as Society 5.0, right? So this term describes the next stage of the evolution of societal communities. The quest for Society 5.0 is really built around the needs of a human-centered society. I have no doubt that MDEC will play a leading role in introducing emerging technologies, which are essential tools in the new Malaysia 5.0 digital economy. And if such a policy is missing from our national strategy, I think Malaysia will be left behind and possibly even excluded from the digital ecosystems and workforces. We risk becoming a digital colony. So instead, Malaysia 5.0 can contribute towards a more sustainable and circular economy, where we feel greater well-being is possible for all citizens, regardless of age, ethnicity, and class. A key aspect of the Malaysia 5.0 vision is building this digital infrastructure with a unified alliance of stakeholders, right? Both within the government and across the private enterprise. This, what we term as a unity alliance, is an economic coalition that will serve the society in its migration into the digital age, right? So to establish Malaysia as the heart of digital ASEAN, a designated capital, digital capital that interconnects 4th IR companies in Malaysia to the rest of the world is crucial. And this will be supported by strong regulatory and strategic oversight and direction from MDEC, and really aligned with the ongoing and newly announced government initiatives such as the Prihatin Economic Stimulus Package, as well as the National Economic Recovery Plan, PENJANA, right? You may have heard of the setting up of the National Digital Economy and Fourth IR Council recently that really affirms the government's seriousness to ensure that the growth of the digital economy is inclusive by harnessing the full array of IR technology. The formation also of the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox under MOSTI to produce competitive local talents who are highly digitally skilled in innovation and technologies with high-tech entrepreneurship capabilities is another step in this direction. There's little doubt that Fourth IR is here to stay. Our current role is really to ensure Malaysia makes the digital leap and embrace the era of the Fourth IR to drive shared prosperity and really to reinforce the country's role as the heart of digital ASEAN, a regional digital powerhouse and an industry trailblazer. And I'm sure with the cooperation, with the working together with all of you here today, we will be able to make this aspiration a reality in the near term. We are now focused on the three primary drivers, and these are empowering Malaysians with digital skills, and we've got various programs to upskill and reskill Malaysians to pick up tools or skills that will be relevant in this new normal, in this post-COVID environment. And this includes computing, data analytics, and many others. We want to enable digitally powered businesses, and really we need to get our SMEs digitalized and also to understand how to survive in this digital environment, increasingly digital environment, and finally to drive digital investments. And this is critical to bring in money to support the emerging technologies such as the 4IR technologies, drone tech, and you've got blockchain, and you've got many others around that space, AI and data that we need to further build upon. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to encourage all of you to participate actively in all these sessions, and I've looked at it. And it's wonderful content I think that's going to come out, and really freely voice your thoughts, your ideas, and really challenge the norm. Right, this is really our time, and we need to do whatever we can to challenge current practices. And I'm sure that over these 2 days, we'll be able with some great ideas and have free discourse about how we can move forward into the Fourth IR and go past COVID-19 to this new norm. Let me leave you with a quote from Dr. Rice. The principal philosophy governing the diffusion of Fourth IR into Malaysia's digital economy lies in the achievement of a unified prosperity for all. The silver lining of this global crisis brought on by the COVID-19 is the opportunity for retrospection, reinvention, and to realign goals by placing society at the nucleus of the Fourth IR technology. With that, thank you very much for having me here today, John, MRSM, and I wish all of you a very productive conference ahead. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Raymond. Thank you, first of all, for stepping in at the last minute. And thank you very much for a very, very clear, informative and interesting presentation. Very good to know that the digital economy for Malaysia is in very good hands with MDEC. And I think most of us today will be very inspired about the plans that MDEC has on the development of the Malaysian economy. And this is very important, of course, for us in the insights business.
I would encourage all of you, John, to also visit mdec.my. We're here to assist the industry, so in any way or form, do come to us.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, well, we'd certainly like to have some sort of partnership with MDEC. So this is a very good start from today. Raymond, thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.